Welcome to the Love Holistic Living podcast, your roadmap to heal and align mind, body, and soul and become intuitive through food, pleasure, and spirituality with your host and Italian friend, Sara Garofalo. I remember when I was younger and I had chronic constipation, bloating, and gas. And honestly, I thought that that was normal or that at least I was going to live like that for the rest of my life. And let me tell you that if you are suffering from anything like chronic, like constipation and or runny bowel movements and or gas and it's been like that for many years and you think it's normal and that's your standard is being uncomfortable, let me help you shift. It's not. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about food energetics, what it is, and how it can benefit you to learn this ancient wisdom, your body's language. And I personally realized over the years that I didn't know how my body was speaking to me. I didn't know the signs to the code. And I felt always like fearful. So let me backtrack for a little bit because in my book, if you haven't grabbed your copy in 2024, this is the time. It's at manjacookbook.com and it's going to help you kind of shift into this new timeline and become the healthiest version of yourself while keeping pleasure in your life. But in the book, I share my story and I've gone through bulimia, binge eating, chronic dieting, and I healed through a very holistic approach. But let me tell you, because the healing process is not linear and you are not a failure, okay? There are certain steps that one person has to take in order to heal this relationship with food and the body. And when I got out of like the chronic dieting and the eating disorder kind of like stage of my life, and I at that point, I was kind of like 10 pounds still like overweight. Like I would say like it was my new normal and I had surrendered to the idea that that was going to be me. And I embraced the self-love. I embraced mindful eating. I was really like owning in that piece of myself that was like if I'm going to self-destruct myself, I don't want to do it anymore. So I really anchored in into self-love and into being present and distinguish my physical hunger from my emotional hunger, which are two separate things. So at that point, I thought that I was kind of healed, yet I still felt uncomfortable in my own skin because I knew that even though I had accepted, I was like, well, that's my new normal, but I still don't feel kind of like myself. And I was still fearful because I honestly still didn't understand my body. I still didn't understand this weight loss. I still didn't understand intuitive eating. And I was kind of frustrated. And if you know something about me, you probably have understood that as a busy working woman, I'm a type A woman that loves to know. I love information. I am determined to know and I will figure it out. Okay. Like, even in school, I was like, if I can't crack the code, well, I kind of love to know and I need to know and I need to research. And so at that point, I felt like I didn't know and I didn't understand the body. And that wasn't enough for me to continue to live like that. So I literally started searching and I went onto a soul searching adventure. If you kind of like read my story, then I went traveling around the world with only a backpack and in the van, kind of like having that dream life of like freedom and letting the wind blow me to the next destination. And it was awesome because it was my soul searching journey and my healing journey. And through that journey, I came across the ancient knowledge of longevity, which right now I translated it into a new course and program, and I call it the food energetics. And let me just break that down to you because I was so frustrated with the intuitive eating term. Everybody was like, "Oh, just follow your cravings. Intuitive eating is about listening to the body." And I'm like, it doesn't really make sense. Like it does not. Because what if my body craves fries with peanut butter ice cream? Like it does not make sense because I also want to still feel healthy and I don't want to live my life counting calories. I don't want to fear food. I want to find real food freedom and real knowledge. Okay. Like I need to crack the code. And I did. And that's what I'm telling you today, that it's totally possible, but there are certain stages that you need to follow in order to heal your relation with food. You can't jump from binge eating to this knowledge that I'm about to tell you. First, you need to come to a place of like self-love and stop dieting. Once you're there and you kind of like eat somewhat healthy, like then you're ready to jump into this knowledge. And again, let me give you an analogy that is going to help you to really understand, okay, to really understand what I'm saying. Let's just say that you want to learn Italian. I want to pick that one because I'm Italian. And someone tells you, "Well, just go there and intuitively pick it up." And you're going to be like, "Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. It's going to take me 10 years to be fluent if I don't take any courses because to learn a language at a fast pace, you have to learn kind of like the basics of that language and how you create a sentence with the noun and the verb and the adjective and things like that. And believe me, I study four languages. So all of the different languages have different rules. And what studying languages taught me is that if you want to advance in something, if you want to be fluent in something, we've got to break it down to the core. You've got to understand the verb and the adjective, the noun, the pronoun, and all of those things so that you understand like the core of the language. And then you can start like creating a sentence, right? The same way the body works. So you can figure it out, but most people like are so disconnected with the body. They don't even know the body's language. They don't even pick up the signs. And sure, you can do it your own way, but we don't have 10 years. Like at the time, and I know I'm still young, but I don't have 10 years to kind of learn this language. If I'm suffering right now, if I am fearful, if I'm kind of like not feeling comfortable in my body, if I have a health issue, I need to know now. There's no time to kind of like play around. And that is why learning food energetics is so crucial for anybody who wants to take this journey. We are launching the program, it's a group coaching program in February. And you can learn all of the details at loveholisticliving.com/food energetics. And I will place the link below. But because we don't have the time, we need to know now. And this knowledge saved me years of the unknown, of being in fear, and not knowing what to do with my body. And let me tell you another funny story because I think this is going to crack you up today. Because that was my reality. And I'm sure someone out there can relate because I was on a date and it was like summertime in the beautiful local village. I was born and raised in Italy and I'm going on a date. Okay. During that time, like I was kind of like getting out of chronic dieting, but I was highly constipated and highly constipated enough to rely on laxatives. And I remember at the time that I took the laxatives like the night before, right? Because I was like, well, I'm going to empty my system by morning, so I have a flat belly to go on this date. And I did. I took the laxatives. Now it's morning time, it's 8 a.m. And I'm like, nothing is happening. And I'm like, oh my God, come on, body. I needed to work on it like right now. But I think at that point, my body was so shot with like the different laxatives and different things that I was taking that my body was like not responding to you, lady. So afternoon, nothing, nothing happened. I go on a date, 8 p.m. the next day, right? I go on this date and I'm like, well, hopefully it's gonna happen tomorrow morning. Well, I start having like the first drink, right, with this guy. And suddenly my stomach starts to like, that sound blah 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 blah, like to have a very embarrassing rumbling sound in my stomach. And I was like, holy crap. I literally need to go to the bathroom right now. Number two, like I need to run. Ace SHIP. Literally, that's what I need to do. And I was like, okay, like I need to run. So I was like, excuse me. I run to the bathroom. There it is. All came out. You don't even know what happened in that small Italian bathroom of that small Italian bar. And I felt so miserable, so embarrassed. And literally, that was the day that I decided that I was like, I can't keep doing this to myself. Like, this is not living, this is surviving. And my chronic constipation is not normal. So, if you need to get anything out of this episode, believe me, your health issues, your uncomfortability with your body, like, is not normal. And there is a path of freedom that I want to give you, that I want to help you shift into, because right now, I would say if you're calling me an expert, literally, I'm like, I know the body, I know how it works, I understand it, and I feel so peaceful because no matter what life throws at me, I can handle it for myself and my kids. So let me start from the beginning, because this is a very like energetic concept that goes beyond like the physical, but it ties everything together. So this is the last step if you really want to understand the body and food, because it starts with the innate knowledge that everything around us is energy. So from you to the flower to the pear to food. And we, or you, we have a certain mind body constitution. I call it the energetic metabolic blueprint. So you came into this world with a certain body type. And that was given to you by genetics, like what we call like your biological parents and, grandparents and things like that. It was given to you also by the local time, the place, the date of where you were born. So those are all of the attributes of your roots. And you came into this world with certain physical and emotional and also spiritual, right? Attributes that make up you. That is why there is no one diet that fits all. None of that. I take a very unique, individualized approach to everyone who wants to do this journey. And, or if you want to learn this knowledge, well, then this is the golden knowledge. Because what helped me understanding, like through this knowledge, I realized I kind of came to the understanding and the peace in my soul that if I have this body, I can have the other body that I want. And believe me, the grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe you want to lose weight and want to be lean and thin. Like I have a lean body. If you look at my social media, like I have long legs, a flat butt, very lean legs. Like no matter how much strength training I do, and I believe me, I was an athlete, like I don't gain muscles. Now, studying this knowledge helped me to shift into, okay, well, this is my body type. It's an apple-shaped body type. Like it looks lean, but if I gain any pounds, it's going to go into my belly and my arms and my cheeks, which all of my life I desired the pear body, like big boobs, and flat belly and big butt. Like all of my life. I like the kind of like full body, and I have a very lean body. So again, don't think that us that we like maybe like you look at us and you're like, "Oh my God, Sarah, you're so thin." But I'm like, "Yeah, but believe me, I've got to live with this body and I've learned to love it, even though I wanted to change it so badly." So understanding this knowledge made me realize that gotta love what I have. I gotta work with my skinny legs and gotta work with my kind of like apple body. And that was so peaceful. The other thing that I've learned is that it's not really so much about caloric intake. So, yeah, there is science to that. And that is what society promotes. They have to be in caloric deficit in order to lose weight. But if you've ever heard the quote of Hippocrates, which says all of the diseases start in the gut, like if your gut is unhealthy, the whole system kind of breaks down. It's true. Learning this knowledge, it allowed me to really dig into the metabolism and how it works on energetic level. So the fact that your digestive system, if it's not working, it doesn't matter if you're eating kale and organic raw food. Like it does not matter because if you're not strong enough to break that down, it's going to create toxins no matter how healthy you're eating. Hey, exciting news! Do you want to go to Italy with me on a culinary and spiritual journey? Do you want to experience Italy through the eyes of an Italian? Join me for an intimate luxury women's retreat in June 2024 with good food, good company, meditation, healing, soul provoking conversations to help you rest, rejuvenate, and awaken your soul. This event will be shared with 7 other women in one of the most beautiful local towns in northern Italy. Spots are limited, and if interested, visit loveholisticliving.com/Italy-retreat. Again, loveholisticliving.com/Italy-retreat. So excited. And that's what happened to me. I was so healthy, yet I wasn't metabolizing anything. So that's why I lived a life feeling so bloated and constipated all the time, no matter how much organic kale I was having. Like it really does not matter. So that is another thing that helped me to shift. Like I, as my body type, can metabolize certain foods, certain items from the pear to the apple to the kale to the sweet potatoes to the meat to the vegan, options in a certain way. And this knowledge transformed my digestive system. Again, I was constipated, bloated, always looked 3 months pregnant. And since I've implemented the wonderful lifestyle and dietary habits, I realized that my body does better and is designed to do better with warm cooked meals. Yeah, sometimes I can have raw foods, but is designed to break down the warm cooked meals much more faster and more efficiently than the raw foods. So really work on an individualized plane and or learn the knowledge because right now I can look at my kids and I can say, okay, you have this kind of body type with this metabolism. So one of my kid that is always kind of like up in the air or like very hyper and he needs a lot of grounding. And the other kid, she's my daughter, she's has already grounding energy. She has a different metabolism. It's kind of like medium to slow. So she eats a lot. She's already grounded, but she needs like to have lighter foods in her diet just because it will help her to kind of move more. And remember, food affects your mental health, and most people don't understand that. But have you ever experienced like eating a cheeseburger? And I'm not saying you can't eat cheeseburgers because I eat them too, but and having that like lump, like that feeling like you need to sleep and feeling like you're lethargic and the feeling that, oh my God, like I feeling heavy in my body, mind, and spirit. And then you're kind of eating this quinoa salad and you feel so light and healthy. That is the effect of food on the mental health. So a lot of the times that can affect your anxiety and or your depression and or other health issues. And that's leading me to tell you that this knowledge, this food energetics knowledge, has also like what we're going to be doing is, and what you can learn is the energetics of the health issues. So let me just give you an example because this is fascinating. When I study this and when I teach this to clients, it's kind of like, well, look at anxiety. Anxiety is very light. It lives in the mind, right? It's categorized as the mental health issue. It's the energy of the anxiety is very light. So what do you do to counteract that? And believe me, I had also anxiety, not only constipation, bloating, and gas. I was a high functioning anxiety personality that in high school also smoked cigarettes for a couple of years in Italy. Well, not only because it was cool, like it's a cool thing to do in Italy, but did need it. Like for me, it was like the only thing that was helping me to pass the test, like to go through a high stress kind of like environment. And I also got out of that because I've learned to adjust my diet and my lifestyle habits, okay, to counteract the energy of anxiety. So I already know that I'm prone to these things, right? As I have told you since the beginning of this episode. This is what I came in with this body. I'm more prone to kind of have this. And I know how to balance it all. And I know what to do in case anxiety knocks at my door right now without needing a medication, without needing the cigarette, without needing the glass of wine. Okay. It's, it literally saved my life. And there were moments that I also encountered depression for a little bit. That's definitely not something that in my mind body constitution in my like metabolic energetic blueprint I experience a lot, but I've definitely encountered that and I also knew how to handle that one. Okay, with like different lifestyle and dietary practices. So every time I look back and I'm like, this knowledge to me was priceless because for the past, I would say like 12 years, I barely saw a doctor. I regained like health, but like emotional, spiritual, physical, all of it health. I'm kind of like my own practitioner. And I do like to teach this to other people because I think everybody should understand his or her own body's language and recognizing the signs and recognizing how the body's speaking to you. Because I talk to so many women and I'm like, okay, you're telling me that you're suffering from bloating. You kind of go from constipation to diarrhea, which is like signs of like IBS. And you know what's happening with your body. And are you willing to change anything? And most of the times we have to kind of fight the subconscious mind, which is another episode. This one, I don't want to go into the subconscious mind, but like if you can get that out of the way, if you can get your mind out of the way and really do what the body needs and understand, okay, my body's telling me this, this is how I act, this is what I need without questioning it. If you're highly stressed out and you're like, well, just keep going. Well, guess what? Life at some point is going to slap you in the face with a very big health issue. I have had it. My clients have experienced it. And usually they come to me, it's the last resort. And they're like, well, this bill came from the hospital because I didn't listen and I kept going and my body crashed. So I believe in working between the holistic and the Western medicine, like kind of like in between. Sometimes we have acute conditions. And believe me, go and take that medication, right? Like if it's acute and it's life threatening, go ahead. But can you also prevent from like the cycle that's repeating all the time? Can you learn from the fact that maybe your immune system is shot right now because you're in survival mode? Can you learn that maybe 5 glasses per week of alcohol might not be what the body can handle right now, just right now. And I tell people all the time, everything is a stage in life. So don't think that what you're doing right now, you're going to be doing for the rest of your life because this knowledge of life this food energetics is absolutely something that helps you to be anchored in who you are. That is the real intuitive eating that I teach. You need to understand the core of the language to then start talking fluently. I want to actually run it by you because this is 8 weeks program that is open to men and women is absolutely like beneficial. It's priceless for the knowledge that you're getting, that you can apply to yourself, your family members. Again, I have a better understanding of also my kids and how I can support them in being who they're meant to be and helping them through lifestyle and dietary practices. So, in the first week, again, we're going to start with the energetic metabolic blueprint, which I told you it's you and your unique traits, you and your unique energy, you and your unique metabolism. Okay. We're working with you. Now, you need to understand that we were born in a state of balance. Then, through life, traumas, different, you know, dietary practices, maybe the job right now that you're having or you're currently like doing, then we get to a state of imbalance. Like you're out of balance. That's when health issues start to happen. The job of an individual is to always bring the back into the balance. And all I'm saying is nobody's perfect. Every day I wake up and I might be checking in and say, okay, well, today I'm feeling this. Today I'm bloated, or today I, have red eyes. What happened? How can I adjust that? Like I'm always tuned in, right? Now, the second week, we're going to go into the food energetics, which is, as I was explaining, the energy that the food has and the effect that produces on the body. To better explain this is let's just say an apple. Okay, a raw apple is astringent. It's a raw fruit. It's astringent by nature. It's given to people and kids when they have diarrhea because why? Because it absorbs the water in the stomach, right? So you need to understand the energies to understand the effect. Because if you're constipated and then you eat an apple, a raw apple, where I'm sorry, but you're going to get more constipated. And I didn't know that. I did not know that. So, same thing with the salad. If you're constipated and you're eating a salad, good luck. You're introducing more fiber to the equation, but your body cannot handle it. Okay. So, food energetics is understanding the benefits, the effect that it has on your body, and the properties. Is it heating? Is it cooling down the body? And what do you need right now? The third week, we're going to go into the health issues energetics. Like I was saying, you've got to understand an ulcerative colitis energy versus an anxiety energy so that you can be kind of like your own guide. Everybody will do this exercise where we kind of like check in on like, hey, you're having this, you're having this. And then we create a dietary and lifestyle practice so that you have that and you gain that knowledge on how to do it. Now, the fourth week is we're going to go into the 5 elements because there is air, ether, water, fire, and earth. And they all kind of like influence your diet, the season, the clock in a day, even the stage of life. Like we have the stage of earth, which is the baby stage, and then the stage of fire, which I'm in right now. Like it's an awesome, like unique way to see life. And if you're also wanting to be more intuitive, like you're welcome. This is going to help you. And we're gonna go into how to self-diagnose yourself and your imbalance, which is absolutely crucial. Like, for example, to understand, like, hey, my kid is having this. Where is it coming from? What energy is out of balance? Hey, I'm having like acne. Well, it's not really the skin, it's an organ. What's happening? Is it coming from the physical? Is it coming from the emotional body? Like, let's figure it out. Then, number 6, or the 6th week, we're going to go into how to bring yourself back to balance through dietary and lifestyle practices. So, again, we're really going to anchor and hone in this knowledge to really peel the onion so you understand how to do this. And then we're going to go into like identifying and clearing any like energetic blockages that may be present in your body. And this is something that I, as a psychic and seer, can see. That's what I do for private clients. Like I scan the body and then I tell them like I see this, let's remove it. In a group coaching setting, I can guide you through that. So I can be like the eyes that you need, but I want you to check in with yourself. I want you to practice and owning who you are and owning like really connect to the body sensations. And then we're going to clear them. We're going to declare and clear out of the energetic body. And then the last week is going to be how to shift and reprogram limiting beliefs. This is always so important to do. I do it all the time, working with the mind and all of the limiting beliefs that we have put on ourselves. Like, well, I can't do that. Or, well, I'm always going to be heavy because I was heavy since I was a child. Bullshit. Like, you may be having an earthy body, like a more curvier body. That doesn't mean that you have to be overweight or feeling yucky and uncomfortable in your own skin. You can still be curvier. You can still be absolutely beautiful with your body. By We've got to scratch that language. We've got to like shift and reprogram that brain because that's a prison. That's not living, that's surviving. Okay. So if you are ready to take on this journey and if you enjoy this episode, go ahead and go to loveholisticliving.com/food energetics to apply. And if you want to come on to a brief call to see if this is what you need, if this is the stage you're in, like I'm pretty sure that it was all clear, but hey, I'm always here for you and either me or one of my team member, we can jump on a call and have a chat and support you. I really want to see people change. I am hoping, I know we're shifting. I was actually talking in Italian for a second. Anzi. No, I know we're shifting and I know that you are not meant to live in a prison. So again, loveholisticliving.com/food energetics, and I'll see you in there. We're starting in February. I'm super, super excited and thank you so much.